past 12 years, what was one of the first most devastating things that you learned?
Experiment. That's what got it going. As far as for me as a person, it wasn't necessarily the Holocaust. It was finding out that during the Holocaust, Hitler, sterilized all the black females in Poland and in Germany.
There were black people in?
Those things.
That's really ignorant, but there were black people there?
I found out about eugenics when I first started studying like secret society and Freemasonry. I didn't come into the knowledge.
His last name's Brown.
As Afrocentric. I came into it studying secret societies and new world orders and things like stuff like that. I studied that for about 3 or 4 years before I actually got into knowledge stuff. So once I got into the book, medical apartheid, and began to see the direct attacks on black people, it was when I really, was when I got into it. But like I said, the forced sterilizations and the Tuskegee was what really had me like, wow, man, they were doing this kind of stuff. And like I said, you just find out more and more and more that was going on in Australia, to the Aboriginal people there, Tasmania, and Philadelphia. I'm from Wilmington, Delaware. They still have these same laboratories that are taking blood, taking tablets from people in the worst areas you can find, people who are very high risk to be on drugs or have HIV. Why would you want these people's blood? Why would you want these people's plasma if there's such a risk to be contaminated? These experiments are still going on in the community, still.
When you say these experiments are still going on in our inner cities, what kind of experiments are you relating to? Because Tayla's the biggest conspiracy theorist ever, and even still, it's difficult for me to believe that there is an agenda to exterminate through whatever means. And I just recently learned about eugenics. I still don't quite understand. So if you could, I'm sorry, say that again?
Have you ever heard of Henrietta Lacks?
Absolutely, Gila.
Yeah. So that's why they know that the genes are superpowered. They know that the genes can cure diseases, can prevent diseases, can really give them advances in science. So they're going to continue to, and then you have the organ trafficking, you have the artificial skin treatments, which are the skin products that have melatonin and melanin in them. There's only one way you can get that. You can't get it from a tree. You can't get it from the ground. So, they have to continue to
Did we lose you? Are you still here? Hello, good rising king. Are you still there?
Like I said, these experiments have to continue because they have to continue.
You sleep?
We as a people will continue to adapt to whatever the circumstances are. We've proven that. So they have to continue to adapt their ways to attack and continue to eliminate our population.
So maybe it's the bass in your voice, but I didn't catch that last part. If you could repeat that last part for me, because if I didn't catch it, I can imagine the listeners didn't either. Big City 101.3 FM. I don't know if we lost them, if it's the bass in his voice, but one of the things that I found, and I would like to quickly go over is, because I looked up everything. Hitler and his henchmen victimized an entire continent and exterminated millions in his quest for the so-called master race. But the concept of a white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed master Nordic race didn't originate with Hitler. The idea was created in the United States and cultivated in California, decades before Hitler came to power. California eugenicists played an important, although little-known role in the American eugenics movement's campaign for ethnic cleansing. So this is all information that is new to me. Black History Month, we trying to get some knowledge and some understanding. Eugenics was the racist pseudoscience determined to wipe away all human beings deemed unfit, preserving only those who conformed to the stereotypes. Elements of the philosophy were enshrined as national policy by forced sterilization and segregation laws, as well as marriage restrictions. Hold on, wait, pause. Reggie, do me a favor and find out when that law ended that races could marry one another. Because, okay, I hope we can get him back on air because I have a lot of questions. My first question is the fact that the whole eugenics idea, the fact that we want a master race. If you really wanted a master race, why was Massa racing to rape other women? I don't get it. That was the essential. That was the first step in the race mixing. Why make it illegal for them to get married if you didn't make it illegal? And if I'm correct, it was not even a law. A slave master could not rape a female slave because she had no feelings. She pseudoscience. There were many pseudosciences between now and 100 years ago that came up with all these reasons why the Negro doesn't feel, why the Negro has no sympathy, all these pseudosciences that were not based on any real science, but somebody's opinion put into fact, put into law that altered who we are today. And I don't get it, because if you wanted a master race, why wouldn't you not mix the races to begin with by raping the women? You found it? You got it?
I think so.
Put your lip on the mic.
Is it this one?
Conflict over interracial marriage and the U.S. anti-miscegenation laws. The Supreme Court ruling of 1967 in Loving versus Virginia. I think so. Is that 19 what? We have a call on the line. I hope we'll be able to pick Hashif back up. 617-282-0062. We're talking about eugenics. We're actually learning about eugenics. We lost our guest speaker, so I guess we're going to learn today by ourselves, waking each other up. And you found something else. Yeah. We're going to wake each other up and teach each other today until we're able to get this guest on the line. Go ahead, Reggie B.
Well, what I found out here was a conflict over interracial marriage in the U.S. anti-miscegenation laws or something like that. I might have cooked the name up.
Everyone knows what it is.
Ruling of 1967, Loving versus Virginia. And it states that in the 1660s, Maryland became the first colony to prohibit interracial marriages. The act that introduced human slave in 1664 also prohibited marriages between white women and black men between 1935 and 1967. The law was extended to forbid marriages between Malaysians with blacks and whites. The law was finally repealed in 1967. By 1750, all southern colonies, as well as Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, had made interracial marriages illegal in 1750. Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy. Did you guys know this? We're going to take these calls. Reggie B, can you reread this?
Yeah.
All right. 617-282-0062. We had a guest speaker on the line. We are unable to, I don't know where he is at, but this is Rising. We're going to teach one another. You know, you got to do what you got to do. And we lost him, so we got to find each other. We're speaking on eugenics. We're speaking on the fact that, what is it? The
MISCEGN nation laws. That's it. That's all I know.
Miscegenation?
Miscegenations. Yeah.
Where's Asaria?
Yeah, I know.
Where's Asaria at? 617-282-0062. Good Rising, caller, you're live.
Yes, good rising, Taylor.
T. Michael Thomas, how are you, my love?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm super fantastic. Talk to me and Reggie.
Yes, I'm not a fan of Hitler or
It sounds like
anything, but his
miscegenation.
name was. There is something that I would like to share. If you look at the documentary, The Rise and Fall of Hitler, one of the things that Hitler said when it comes to the United States, when he was doing the evil that he was doing to the Jews and folks in Europe, he said America basically should be the last to talk because look at the way they treat black people in their own country. So for them to criticize him, what he's doing, basically those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. That's what I wanted to share.
You know what I would like for you to share, T. Michael Thomas, is how can people sign up for your class and come?
Because coming on the 18th of this month, there's a very important meeting across from the bowling building, which is the senior citizens room on Washington Street. I forgot the name of the building.
I know what you're talking about.
But it's on the 18th at 6 o'clock. There's a very important meeting for the community to show up to let the community, let the BRA, DND, and the city know that the People's Academy is very valuable as a training component to this city. And it's important that folks show up, lend their support, send a message of, we need our training component.
I wish you could see my face, T. Michael Thomas. They know how important it is. That's why you don't get no funding. Okay?
There is one more thing I wanted to
I
share.
think that's the only reason.
The last meeting,
There's a lot
the
of
first
reasons
Monday
why
of the
he's not
month,
getting
He wanna do it
at the
for
library
children.
in
They're gonna
Dudley,
let him do it specifically
in front of the
for
panel
children.
of at least 15 oversight committee members, I asked the question, who on this panel will support the People's Academy in our city as a training component
Nobody said anything.
and a job creation component? One person raised their hand.
And who were you in the room with elected officials and only one person raised their hand? Who were amongst these people who had the option to raise their hand or not?
Well, Tito Jackson was there, Mike Curry was there, Jorge Martinez was there, a few others. The only person that I saw raise their hand right away was Dorothea Jones.
Point them out, point them out, point them out, point them out. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, boo. And if I see you out here, you're grinding and you're helping people, and you're people who cannot obtain jobs or careers or training because of whatever their background may be. You look past that and you get to their core and you teach them a trade that can take them all over the world. So I would like to publicly say that I thank you, I love you, I appreciate you for all that you do and all that you continue to do. And I can't even imagine, you've been doing this for years, T. Michael Thomas. I can't even imagine how many times you wanted to quit, how many times you wanted to give up when you had no support for any city officials, when you had no support from anybody in the community. How many times did you want to lay down and just give up? And you didn't, and you haven't, and I love you for it.
To you and Reggie B, great show, and I will continue to listen. Thank you.
Thank you. Hope you have an amazing day today. We have another caller on the line. We're speaking of eugenics. That definitely was off topic, but it was very important. So I wanted to make sure that we got that in. Thank you, T. Michael Thomas. But eugenics, we had a guest on the line. We lost him. If you know anything about eugenics, since we lost him, we're going to find each other. We're going to find each other, uplift each other, educate each other on eugenics. Where are any of my nurses? Because I'm hoping that some of our nurses and some of our doctors and some in those professions can sit here and send me either a Facebook message, or you can sit here, call 617-282-0062. What did you learn when you were learning about when you were learning about medicine? Did you learn about medical apartheid? Did you learn about eugenics programs? Did you learn about exterminations of races? And if you did, please share that knowledge with us. Again, 617-282-0062. Good rising, caller, you're live.
Good rising, Kelly.
Talk to me, Takwa. I know you have something to share.
Yes. First of all, miscegenation.
Miscegenation. Hold on. Say it, Reggie B. Miscegenation. So that was miscegenation was the law that was passed in 1776,
The Supreme Court ruling of 1967.
but it was put into law.
Yeah, in Maryland.
Law. Miscegenation is the mixing of races. Because to folks that are, endeavoring to create a genetically modified race and call it a super race, which is really the antithesis of a super race, because the super race is the original race, the human race. And miscegenation means to the recessive genetic modified person, genetic annihilation. They fear genetic annihilation, so to mix the recessive people with the dominant people would mean the elimination of the recessive people, because you know that black is dominant and white is recessive. So the anti-miscegenation law was put in place for the preservation of the Caucasian race.
So I have a question though, Takwa, because there were laws that said that a slave master could not rape a slave because she's not a person. How exactly were there miscegenation laws when they were still raping people?
See, that's the hypocrisy of it all. But look at this. Back then we were considered livestock, right? But there was a guy being tried somewhere for raping a goat. So if you couldn't rape livestock, why is this guy being tried for raping a goat?
The laws changed. The laws have altered. Raping a goat is now a thing, and raping a woman is now a black woman is now a thing. I did read that story though.
Oh, there are many tools of eugenics. You know, the whole birth control movement, you know, the pills, the prophylactics, the spermicides, the intrauterine devices. But of all of these tools aimed at us, you know, partial birth abortions, there is nothing more effective than the feminization of the black male. Because
hold on, what's this word?
Feminization of the black male, right? There's nothing more effective in the endeavor towards eugenics than this. Because guess what? And the feminized, break it down in layman's terms, homosexual black male is not making no baby.
I swear, you know what? I just came back from Atlanta. I think that was every man I passed. Every man was like, "Hey, girl, I like your hair." I was like, "Hold on, no, no, no."
An event this Saturday.
This is the one you were talking about?
Discussing the feminization of the black male on this Saturday.
Talk about who made up this word. This sounds like a Scrabble triple point. You thought that was a word, but you get no points word.
Oh, that's in the dictionary. Feminization is where you take a black, any male that you feminize. You turn him into, basically turn him into a woman, a pseudo woman. That's really a word.
So I'm looking, I went ahead and I Googled it. You know, you could Google everything these days. I looked up the word and hold on.
And you know, the whole cliche, you are what you eat. Careful where you buy your fish.
Hold on, what do you, pause, Takwa. They effeminize a fish. How?
The experiment with fish. I'm not a scientist. I don't understand all the specifics of that. But it was done long before they started trying it with people. They tampered with the genes in male fish to make them effeminate and make them behave in a behavior pattern that's indicative of a female fish.
I didn't find that article. I'm Googling taco. I'm on page 3 and I'm not finding anything about effeminization of a fish. And that word alone, I really like that is a Scrabble word where you thought you won and you beat the other person, but you get no points. And it's a real word. I'm not finding. If you can find anything, if anyone listening has any knowledge of effeminization of fish or men or women, or because I've always wondered why there was an increase of homosexuality in the last 10 years, but I thought it was because I remember 10 years ago when my cousin came out and they were like, you're nasty. Now all of a sudden everybody's nasty and wants to be gay. So, Takwa, you know I love you. You know I appreciate you. And I can't believe that these are real things. I'm hoping that we're able to pull up our guest. I think he called back. Good Rising King, you're live.
Apologies. I had technical difficulties, technology is only good when it's brand new, I guess.
All right, we completely understand. One of the things I want to do is I would like to take you off this line. So if you could hang up and call right back, I want to bring you up on a line that's a little bit more clearer because your bass is getting in the way of us understanding these words. All right, thank you. So I want to go back, Reggie B, to that article you found about the miscegenation laws of 1750 that ended in 1965. 67. 1967 is when it became legal for a black woman and a white man to marry. For a white man and a black woman to marry in 1967.
Well, not for them to marry, but well, let me go back to before 1750. In 1660s, Maryland became the first colony to prohibit interracial marriages. The act that introduced human slavery in 1664 also prohibited marriages between white women and black men between 1935 and 1967.
Pause. Did you say anything about black women and white men?
White women and black men.
White women and so the life carriers, the life bearers.
Right.
Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
Between the white woman and black men between 1935 and 1967 was prohibited to marry. The law was extended to forbid marriages between Malaysians with blacks and whites. The law was finally repealed in 1967.
Malaysians like the country?
That's only
Malaysia?
That's the only Malaysia I know.
But why specifically Malaysians?
It's probably going to get to the story.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And here's what I was talking about 1750. By 1750, all southern colonies, as well as this one we live in, people, Massachusetts and Pennsylvania, had made interracial marriages illegal. For example, Virginia had a law stating that all marriages between white person and a colored person shall be absolutely void without decree of divorce or other legal process. Code N 8720-57. That was their article number.
So, oh Lord, have mercy.
There's a whole bunch of stuff.
There's a whole lot. So, my king, did we bring you up? Are you on the line? There you are. Okay, so while we were disconnected, we went ahead and did some of our own due diligence. We read a few articles. We're learning on air one together. Since we lost you, we're trying to find each other. For those that are just now tuning in, we're learning about eugenics today. And one of the things that we learned as far as eugenics is concerned that I had a question about when Takwa called was if it's illegal and they put these laws into place in 1750 that blacks and whites cannot marry, but yet so a black man cannot marry a white woman, therefore they cannot procreate, but yet a white man can rape a black woman. Why, if you don't want the mixing of races, why rape people?
at that time, I remember those laws didn't apply equally to everybody. For one, and two, we kind of, the white male, black men and women have always been like his sexual fantasy, regardless of how he felt about it. So, I think that kind of answers why they still were raping and procreating with our women and even our men. And international or relations have gone back prior to slavery anyway. So that's not, nothing anything new out there.
Do you know specifically why Malaysians were brought into this law? Because Reggie B just finished reading an article about, I forgot the date, Reggie B, but Malaysians were also a group that could not interracially mix.
That was a group that was brought in for labor force.
Oh.
Just like people brought into the Caribbean. But they were brought into the labor force, and because they were brought in and checked their nationality, that's why they were specified as a group that weren't able to intermix or procreate either, because they were brought in and weren't made black or white. They were brought in and still were kept as Malaysian. So they had to specify, the laws that were
they were very clear.
The blacks and whites didn't apply to Malaysians, so they had to write them into the law. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it does make sense. It just threw me for a loop because, again, I go back to the fact that I never learned this in history class. I never learned this about America in history class. Wow. Okay.
But American history is not a made-up story. It doesn't even give us the true history of the colonies or the West Coast or the French territory or. We don't really get the true history. That's something you would have to go to your local library, find out the history of the state, the township, the city, the county, and then you'll begin to study and you'll be able to get the real foundation of American history. And a lot of stuff isn't hidden when you do your due diligence, like what you all are doing now.
Well, we attempt to do our due diligence because, it's not illegal anymore. We got to read. We got to teach each other. And sometimes when we don't know the answer, we have to admit we don't know the answer, Sway, and do our best to find the due diligence. Hanif, I'm lost because I know about HeLa. So could you break down for those who don't know about the HeLa cells or the Henrietta Lacks cells? So this portion of eugenics, I understand. Tuskegee experiment, I understand. But I'm not understanding on the grander scheme, on the macro of it, where eugenics comes into place in 2016. And this is a study. If you look up eugenics, there's a whole pseudoscience that you can take in college and learn about. But what exactly are we learning about, and why is it important to learn about eugenics, that they are advocating for people to become scientists?
Well, I'd say, depending on what your nationality is, or it depends on how you're looking at it. Because if I'm a white supremacist studying eugenics, I'm looking at ways to get rid of people I can't stand it. This would be real about it. Now, I'm a black nationalist. I'm studying eugenics to find out what they do to eliminate mine. So, but the fact that they have it in college courses and that they softened up the term and made it acceptable, it just tells us where we are right now in society. You have a presidential candidate like Donald Trump, who's touting nothing but racism and hate. So you shouldn't be surprised if this type of information is readily available and they'll teach it like not take now. I say it's important because you have to know the different tactics that they use to attack us with. And when you look at, you say him at a lap, that's just another example to prove how much real work for white supremacy dead more than alive. You see what I'm saying? If we can make deals for the pharmaceutical, one dead black woman can make deals for the pharmaceutical industry, then what can I get up and do? That's how I look at it.
I think that's a valid question. Reggie, did you catch that?
Yeah.
He said how if Henrietta Lacks, if one woman can make billions of dollars for the medical industry, imagine what 1 billion blacks could do. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. Never thought about it like that.
That's all the money in the world.
All the money?
In the world. All the blacks. It's along with Henrietta Lacks, that's all the money in the world.
That's
in this state. This country.
Alone, huh? So one of the things, shout out to Anonymous. Anonymous has a very in-depth question. Could you ask Kashif about the effeminization of men that Taqwa just brought up, along with the eugenics program that Bill Gates is a part of? Also, what Monsanto, genetically modified organisms, as well as eugenics, has in common. And this is thank you, Anonymous, as well as Planned Parenthood and what their importance when it comes to eugenics.
Well, I mean, they just summed up. You know, that's all the information. That's all things that we need to know. We need to know about Planned Parenthood. We need to know about the GMO food. We need to know about the fertilization. Why? Because all of those things lead to depopulation. Everything in the food lowers your sperm count or is filled with hormones and testosterone to make people want to be with their same sex. You know, so yeah, same with legalization about gay marriage. All of that has to do with depopulation and with another. I don't want to ramble on. That was a lot. That was a very good question, and it's all related. Another element to eugenics is feminism. Why? Because feminism breaks down the traditional family values. So anything that's against the family, that's against birth, that's against creation, eugenics is going to promote that. And yes, the GMO food is, we have a need to go on and on, but they're just a tactic. The GMO food and the feminization is just the latest tactic that they use to add to their plan for population control. There's terms like sustainable development. We have to familiarize ourselves with, because that's a part of eugenics as well. To make people think that we have to sustain the growth of the population. Of course, we know global warming is another one. They're trying to say, oh, there's too many people on the planet, even too much stuff. So you have rich people who already have everything, looking for ways to stop people who don't have anything from basically living.
So basically that question sums up its own answer. Everything. All right. So, let's play devil's advocate for a second. Let's say, why is this important? Like, conspiracy theorists, they're not doing anything to your food. There's nothing in the water. Y'all were just gay to begin with. And now it's finally coming out. You've just accepted it. Like, it has nothing to do with anything. And you are placing blame. What facts do you have? What concrete facts do you have that your food is causing the effeminization of men? What facts do we have? And Taqwa called in and said that they were effeminizing fish and making fish turn feminine. So
situation is just a chemical accident, which is just one known chemical that is in pesticides and most of our corn, our water supplies, tomatoes are being treated with this pesticide that has activated in it, and that is been proven to turn frogs and other life in the sea homosexual or actually basically change their gender. Now, what we do know is that young men are I'm talking about straight young men. This has been going on for a while now, or I can't remember what it's called, but they're having estrogen issues, where they're eating too much female foods, chicken, beef, and they're actually growing breasts, and they're having to take pills to stop themselves from growing breasts. This is not uncommon. I can't remember the name of this medical condition. Like you'll literally see, usually happens to chubbier boys, but they'll begin to grow breasts. And it's not just from being chubby, it's from the food that they're eating, like literally having to grow breasts, because we eat a lot of foods that are too estrogen. From something like I said, from the beef, the chicken. So it saturated with estrogen. And like I said, the atrazine, the fluoride in the water, making people docile to listen to the things that they see on TV. And the artists on TV is acceptance of homosexuality and sports to people as being some great, lovely things when the truth about it is, for men, there are imminent health risks when you decide to live that death style, because it can't be considered a lifestyle because it doesn't produce life. That's one thing that has to be cleared up. You cannot call homosexuality a lifestyle or anything outside of a perverted decision. It doesn't have to produce anything. It has a purpose outside of perversion.
So one of the things that I would like to mention is, you're saying these things and things are popping up in my head. And one of the things that popped up in my head when you said it happens usually in chubbier boys, but now it's happening to more men more often. And I was actually watching a commercial that said, like, I forgot the name of it, but it's like when men develop breast and you can, it's like a class action suit type thing. And you could get them reduced or removed for like, it was one of those, have you ever, please call something. You could be awarded a large sum of money. And I was like, where did this come from? Where did this come from that men have breast and they're able to sit here and have a class action suit against it? Is there anything, I really do feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone right now because I don't feel like this is a real thing. Like, I still don't want to believe that they were able to take a male fish and turn it into a female fish. I'm sorry, but it's hard for me to accept this. It's hard for me to accept that there's an entire program on how to. But okay, this is my question. Devil's advocate. It's in the food, it's in the water, it's in the chemicals, it's in all of these things. Then why isn't affecting it everybody? Why is everyone not affected? Why aren't the females affected because we eat the same food the males eat? Why aren't the Asians affected because they're eating the same foods that we eat? Like, all different races eat the same foods. We may prepare them differently, but we eat generally the same foods. How or why is it targeted just to a Black community and not to the whole of those that consume?
Well, I would disagree slightly with the fact that we eat the same food, because we don't necessarily eat the same food, or if we do eat the same foods, they're not coming from the same place. So, if I'm shopping at Whole Foods and you're shopping at your local corner store, you're not getting the same chicken, you're not getting the same beef that I'm getting. So, okay, if your child goes to a public school and my child goes to a private school, they're not getting the same food. And for as a matter of fact, most private schools have organic or vegan lunches now. They don't have fluoride in there, but they have spring water. They have filters on their water fountain. Public schools, come on, they're getting radiated milk. They're getting fluoride in the drinking water. They're getting the microwave. State food, I like to call it. Same food that they get in the prisons and the hospitals. Because it's all from the state. So I would disagree with the fact that we're getting the same food. We're not watching the same things on television. So not only are we not eating the same food, but we're not feeding our mind the same things either. And then, we left out chemtrails. Because that's real too. So they do have a way of, we'll both get a bag of Doritos, but your bag of Doritos can be contaminated. And mine out here in the suburbs won't be such as contaminated. So, I mean, that's probably not a good example of Doritos, but I would say something like milk and drinking water, which we all do use. Yours can be contaminated and mine cannot be, depending on where I live. And that's a fact. In a lot of areas, most wealthy areas, they fought to get the fluoride out of their water. And most of the cities don't even know about it. So, I would disagree with that. And they can easily poison poor, lower income people by the foods that they force them to have to eat.
Okay, you might be onto something, because I definitely have been one of those advocates that are like, why aren't we giving our children fresh food when they go to school? Same thing, advocating with the fact that there are no nutrients in any of these foods that are in our corner stores. Just monosaturated and hydrosaturated fats.
No. Mono is good fat. No,
Okay, polysaturated.
That's good too.
Then what's the fat that you told me that?
Saturated.
Okay,
Forget
saturated.
The mono, forget the poly.
Just saturated fats.
It's not the good one. You
Okay.
don't need that. Yeah.
But actually, I'm actually the point that you're getting to. We're malnourished. We are malnourished people mentally and physically. You know, and our children are growing up malnourished. This is leading to so many of the diseases and the ailments that are all a part of the eugenics program. If they can show us the preventable illness, which is going on in America, let's talk about the third world country. Children in the black community are dying from preventable illness. You know, from dietary things. Before they're even a teenager, they're dealing with dietary issues. So, yeah, that's all part of eugenics training. It's not a secret. It's on record. There's a documentary, Ma'afa 21. It's a very great documentary. I recommend it to anybody who's listening. If they haven't seen it already, it's spelled M-A-A-F-A. Ma'afa 21.
Hold on, say that again. Say that again for me.
Ma'afa 21. M-A-A-F-A 21. It's a great documentary that goes over the modern day population control, eugenics that's going on. It gives examples of how, like, say, Hurricane Katrina hits New Orleans, and the first thing that they come through with is contraception. You have the hurricane that Haiti. The first thing they come through with is contraception. So you have a situation where 85% of the women in Haiti have access to birth control, but they don't have access to first treatment work.
Wow. And you know what? That just sparked in me. Do you guys remember the story that I read about the Ethiopians that came out of Ethiopia and were traveling? This was during the time of war back in the 90s when Ethiopia was going through a civil war, and the women were leaving for refuge, and the refugees were told that they were getting vaccinated to come into the country, and they were really being sterilized by giving the Depo shot. And it wasn't the 3-month Depo; it was like the lifetime, never have a child Depo. So, and from I read a few. I'm gonna need you. You said Massa 21, M-A, Maffa, M-A-F-F-A. Alpha 21. Oh, I just found it. I'll go ahead and post that on the Wake Up with Tayla Andre page for those that are interested in watching that documentary. Came out in 2009. But I also remember watching a documentary that we, the United States, also went into Puerto Rico and Cuba and sterilized some of the women there. Some people are still getting money from when we sterilized them. Hey, why is this sterilization or is maybe it's just research? You know, sometimes a few have to suffer in order for the many to prosper. We have informed consent. Are we not doing our due diligence, or is this purposefully?
Doing this without informed consent. They are doing this for abortion. I mean, the countless cases of teenage, like you said, black and Hispanic females who get an abortion and then sterilize them without their knowledge. But we've got to realize why they're doing this. They're not doing this, like you said, for research and to study. You got to understand that Caucasians are the one and only true minority. They know this. Everywhere they go, which is like you said, when they did it in Cuba, they did it in Puerto Rico, they did it in Tasmania, they did it in Australia. Everywhere they go, which if they left Europe, they run into brown people. They've never traveled anywhere and met other Caucasians. And everywhere they've gone, they've castrated the men and they've sterilized the women, even when they didn't have sanitary, but they've never had sanitary methods, but even when they didn't have the most non-damaging methods, they still always, that's something that they always did. Castration and sterilization, everywhere they went. That's on record.
Hanif, I want to thank you. I want to thank you. This is I feel like we scratched the surface. I feel like there's so many more layers to peel back when it comes to eugenics and understanding eugenics. And I really do feel like we scratched the surface here. And I thank you for opening this rabbit hole for me to jump down, because now I have so many questions and I have so much to watch. MAFFA 21 is the documentary. How can people get in contact with you if they have more questions?
Well, I'm on Facebook, Hanifel, HANEFEL. My Instagram is at Brother Hanif, BROTHA. Hanif. Same thing on YouTube, youtube.com/Brother Hanif. You know, a lot of information is out there. There's another, talking about the Depo-Provera shot. You can go on YouTube and put the dangers of the Depo-Provera. There's a video on my YouTube channel that goes over. That's another example that they use for birth control. Not only are they just using it to start to give birth, but they're treating all kinds of mental issues in Black women with the Depo-Provera, cysts, bleeding, tumors, cancers, changes in the body, depression, suicide. This is all being caused by the Depo-Provera shot. So this is on record. They know it. They know it. They were giving it out, and they still continue to give it out. So
they know it. They know it. They know it. See, hold on. Now I'm mad because you don't understand I'm not on any birth control. I'm not on pills. I don't have rings. I don't get shots. I'm not on any birth control. I'm on my mother's Catholic system called You Better Know Your Cycle. That's what I'm on. And every single time I go to the doctors and I don't see my personal physician, I'm always asked, so are you on birth control? Would you like to be? My doctor already knows. Don't ask me that nonsense because she's with me. You don't need birth control. Just know your cycle. And if I'm being asked this question multiple times when it's in my file that I haven't been on birth control in over 13 years.
All your life.
I'm not 13, Reggie B. But for 13 years, I was. And I did take the shot and I was on the ring and I did the patch. I did every form of birth control that you can ever imagine, except for that thing that you stick in you. It's like the IUD thing. No, I'm so good.
Inter-universe device. Yeah, IUD.
You know, I have friends that have like really bad cramps, haven't bled in years. And then as soon as they get it out there, you can't have kids for like up to 5 years after that. Why would you do that to yourself?
I have dated some people
that have it.
That had
it.
Don't have it anymore.
And he's right. Tumors and all types of like urinary tract infections, bacteria, vaginosis. They have all types of issues when it comes to the vajayjay.
But I don't think those that got it were told or even knew that. They were just told that it just prevents birth. That's it.
One of the things that, as far as the Depo shot is concerned, the only thing that I was ever aware that it caused was weight gain. I never knew of the list of things that Hanif went to. Hanif, can you say the Depo-Provera shot? Because a lot of my friends are on this shot. I can imagine how many listeners have friends or daughters that are currently on this shot, or maybe themselves are on this shot. What exactly? Go down that list again. And you guys, I do want you to look up the dangers of the Depo-Provera shot. We're going to learn today. You're going to learn today.
Like you said, the tumors, cancer, the mental illnesses, I honestly believe are was the most detrimental and most unknown. Because now we're talking about bipolar, depression, suicide, suicidal thoughts, anxiety, nervousness. It's causing a lot of mental issues in Black women. The Depo-Provera shot is. So yeah, and the information's out there. And when I tell you that the CDC and the government knew, they knew when they initially gave it out. It wasn't a secret. Because a lot of these medicines are overseen. But yeah, it's very scary. Because like as men, we know where we go on them, and when you take back, most women, like if you look at, I put clips of it on my Instagram page. All the women commented about how they felt when they were just depressed, suicidal. to believe the way that some of them had tumors, some of them can't have surgery anymore. So yeah, it's real and it's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it. But like you say, promote it to our people every time they go to the doctor.
Hanif, we come to the top of the hour. We're going to continue to scratch this itch because I fell all the way down the rabbit hole. I have a lot of questions, but we don't have a lot of time. I want to thank you for your time. Love and appreciate you. I'll go ahead and post up your information on the Wake Up with Tayla Andre page so those that are interested can get in contact with you. Reggie B, I am miscegenation. Is that miscegenation laws? Is that what it is?
That means
And the crowd goes wild. Miscegenation laws came into play in 1750 when blacks and whites could not marry one another. But because blacks were property, a white man wasn't convicted of any crime had he raped a black woman because she was property. She wasn't a person. These laws came or were through in our legal system in 1967, and that was around the corner. Like my mom,
that's the year I was born.
Yeah, was born in 1967, and that's when we sat there and said, "Hey, let's do away with this law that prohibits blacks and whites from marrying, commingling, and procreating." In 1967, so.
49 years ago.
Lord, a lot of mercy. Reggie B, I do want to take this call real quick. Good rising, caller, you're live.
Good rising, a lot of mercy. I'm so happy at what's going on today. It's beautiful. All that learning houses is doing is a beautiful thing. There's this one track I gotta have you listen to off air when you get time to, but it's called Nature of the Threat by Roscoe.
Send it to me, baby. Send it to me. TaylaAndre@gmail.com. Send it to me. All right. Love and appreciate you. Hey, my king or queen. Good rising. How are you? My love? Is you my love? Okay, it's not you. Big City 101.3 FM. Waking up with Tayla Andre. I know today was a little iffy. I know it's a little in and out. He got all that bass in his voice, so we couldn't really hear everything. But I got the gist of what's going on. We scratched that surface. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to seek out somebody else to come in here and break this down for us a little bit because, I get it, but I don't understand. In order for you to understand something, you have to fully comprehend it, and I don't fully comprehend. I understand the HeLa. We talk about Henrietta Lacks. We talk about how her cells were used for years, and the family still to this day has not received any financial compensation. They received a public apology. There was a book written about her, but the estate of Henrietta Lacks has never received a damn dime, and her cells have been used billions of times in the name of research. But of course, it was without her inform or her consent. And that was the extent of me understanding eugenics. That was it. Outside of, Hitler wanted race control. But as I read before, and I will post on the Wake Up with Tayla Andre page, eugenics did not come from Hitler. The racist pseudoscience determined to wipe away all human beings, deemed unfit, preserving only those who conform to stereotypes, the Nordic stereotype. In 1909, California became the third state to adopt these laws that was enacted in 27 states that national policy forced sterilization and segregation. Forced sterilization and segregation. I'm starting to believe that conversation that we had yesterday about, listen, this is that dominating cell. You remember Ken Williams was just like, listen, a black woman and a black man can create an albino child. They can create a white child, but a white man and a black woman is still going to create a black child. And now to understand eugenics and to understand sterilization, forced national policy of forced sterilization and segregation. This is insane to me.
Isn't that the same? Didn't California just pass a law that your religion is no longer admissible and you got to take that vaccine?
Absolutely. You have to take the vaccine. You are absolutely right. And I didn't even think about it like that, Reggie B. I didn't even think about it like that.
So one state started it and the rest are going to follow.
Yes. So I want you guys to know that it was not Hitler that came up with this idea. It was California eugenicists that played an important but little known role in America's eugenic movement. And now that we can know, we can do our due diligence, we can educate ourselves, we can educate the people who are standing in line in front of. Did you know that Hitler did not come up with eugenics? People like, I am that person in the supermarket that while we're waiting in line for extra long times, I'll just bust out with a fact that you didn't know. And you looking at me like, why is she talking to me? Because I want to teach you something you didn't know about before. Mm-hmm. Oh, what? That's an interesting fact. I know. Like to learn more? Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7, Big City 101.3 FM. And I do it in public too, Big City 101.3 FM. People like, I love you guys. I appreciate you. I hope today really opened your eyes to something different. And that's really what I seek to do. I don't want, it's Black History Month. Race is a really big deal, especially right now with everything that's going on in the world. It's something that needs to be discussed. It's something that needs to be talked about openly. And it needs to be something, it needs to be a healing mechanism. We need to use this conversation around race to heal one another. Once you can understand, like, oh my God, you cheated on me, but why? We always want that, but why? And I feel like the reason why we can't get over this race thing, we can't get over this segregation in our mind is because we don't have the history. We need but why? I know you looked at me being like, how is that got anything to do with it? That why aspect. We need to discuss not just when it happened, how it happened, but why it happened and where it came from. And once we have these conversations and open dialogue, like it's nothing, do you know how much we'll be able to get over? You can't, I want to go back to a broken relationship. You can't get over that broken relationship if you're still wondering why it happened. You can't get over that broken relationship if you're still wondering, what went wrong? What did I do? And these are the conversations that we need to have in order to begin healing. Again, my opinion, not fact. I love you, Reggie B. Thank you.
That's okay.
For bringing me to the studio today, because I wanted to sleep so bad. I was like, the snow. Great excuse. Thank you, Snow. No excuses.
I had a free day yesterday.
I would love a free day today. But it's not going to happen that way. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have an awesome day today. Reggie B. Tayla Andre, Waking Up with Tayla, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. Reggie, I want to thank you for coming in the studio as often as you do. Yeah. It's not a priority for you, but you do come, and I want to publicly say that I thank you for that.
You are so very welcome.
We got work to do.
We, us, you, and I. Thank you, Taylor.
This is DJ Sus One, the feature presentation. Listen, make sure you wake up with Tayla Andre Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 a.m. on Big City 101.3 FM. Wake up with the Radio Rebel. Politics, news, conspiracies. Wake up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. This is the type of stuff I'm into, all right? Make sure you tune in. Let's go.
This is the Champion Dial. Champion Dial. Big City 101.3.
Come say hi to YouTube, Reggie.
Hello, YouTube. I'm here.
Reggie is always here.
Yeah. Hi, YouTube.
Hi,
My name is
YouTube.
Reggie B. I'm here with Tayla Andre. The Wake Up with Tayla Andre show.
Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7.
Yeah.
Except for today, because I wanted to sleep.
Yeah, she needed a ride for me. So don't never say I did nothing for you. I did. I came and got you and dropped me back off at your door.
Damn, Reggie, why you gotta put me up there like that? If you guys know anybody who does not have a deep voice and knows a lot about eugenics. I feel like we missed a lot of information because he has so much bass in his voice.
Sound like Barry White.
Yeah, definitely. But I do want to go over this conversation again. And, the mayor is, Mayor Marty Walsh. The mayor is going to be having race relation conversations this spring and summer. And I would love to bring this up as a topic. You think they'll cover it? But
when you do,
yeah,
all I'm going to say is watch his facial expression when you do.
Maybe we'll YouTube it. I hope you guys have an awesome day. If you guys have any suggestions, any ideas, please head over to TaylaAndre.com, TaylaAndre.com. Send me anything, everything that you want to discuss, that you want to talk about, because it's not about me. It's about us. And this is not my show. It's our show. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Mwah.